Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera, salam ketenangan kepada semua. Agak banyak berita yang nak kongsikan hari ini, tapi saya rasa saya dah kongsikan dekat page. Okay. Saya dah kongsikan dekat page, tapi saya lupa nak share dekat. Sekejap. Sekejap. Tak ada. Okay. Pergi ke ni. Saya lupa nak share. Okay guys, kalau ada yang tengah nonton, jadi sila komen dekat bawah. Kalau suara saya jelas, kalau tak jelas, bagi tahu. Jadi kita nak lihat apa pengembangan waktu sekarang ni, agak kecoh sikit. Jadi saya banyak juga saya berita-berita yang saya dapat share, yang saya ikuti daripada Twitter, daripada semalam lagi, tapi daripada pagi tadi saya cuma berita yang mana saya dapat kongsikan saja. Jadi saya kongsikan berita yang saya dapat kongsikan. Jadi kat sini ada live MAA, okay, Ask Me Anything dengan Kripto.com CEO. Jadi sekejap lagi kita akan mainkan, lihat macam mana apa dia nak cakap. Jadi kita lihat keadaan. Tapi sambil tu ada juga dekat Twitter space tengah jalan. Jadi ramai tengah kongsikan idea dengan berita. Banyak benda yang dikongsikan dekat space, di host oleh Mario Naufal. Boleh dengar space tu, memang banyak info, banyak perkara yang banyak benda yang dikongsikan, memang pembaloi untuk para pelabur yang baru yang ingin nak tahu berkaitan dengan pasaran cryptocurrency, atau yang tak tahu apa tu DeFi, CXX dengan CeFi, dan macam mana collateral, macam mana crypto boleh jadi jatuh, dan banyak lagi, banyak benda yang dikongsikan dekat dekat space sana. Memang daripada semalam lagi saya layan, saya tak berhenti lagi, walaupun ada glitch apa ni, daripada dia start balik. Banyak benda yang dikongsikan lagi. Kita ada berita baru tadi, saya ada kongsikan dekat dekat page tadi berkaitan dengan Binance. Okay. Apa yang saya tak habiskan tadi, saya tetap boleh keluar. Okay, sekejap saya pergi ni, dia tak bagi saya leave page. Okay, berkaitan dengan berita Binance, yang kalau korang ada nampak dekat page, yang Binance nak buat satu team atau forming industry recovery fund to help project who are otherwise strong but in liquidity crisis. More detail to come soon. In meantime, please contact Binance Lab if you think you qualify. Jadi maksudnya dia akan cuba labur dalam projek-projek yang mana yang strong, ada fundamental yang sangat-sangat tinggi, yang boleh pergi jauh. Jadi Binance Lab akan cuba cuba review projek-projek tersebut. Jadi kita akan lihat apa akan berlaku. Jadi kalau CZ boleh selamatkan keadaan, sebab kita lihat market tengah pumping tau, market tengah pumping. Market tengah pumping. Kalau kita lihat dekat sini, Matic naik 5%, Shiba. Jadi saya tak kongsikan saya punya screen kan. Jadi saya tak kongsikan screen. Jadi komen dekat bawah kalau korang ada apa-apa yang soalan korang nak tanya. Saya banyak benda yang saya dah dengar. Otak saya pun hampir nak meletus daripada Twitter Space. Daripada Twitter Space.
Thank you so much to everybody who joined us here.
Okay.
So excited that
Okay.
today.
Pumping dekat sini. Ethereum naik hampir 1%, BTC sampai 1.4%. Okay. Sekarang saya nak kongsikan ada berita. Saya nak kongsikan ni apa yang berkaitan
multiple times, what we need to do is focus on rebuilding this trust. And I think people are waiting.
Saya harap korang boleh dengar suara apa yang saya pun video yang saya kongsikan.
Most importantly, you can see our plan trading.
Dalam masa jangka panjang masih menurun lagi, dan untuk jangka panjang belum naik. Jadi kita nak lihat breakout berlaku dahulu sebelum ada apa-apa. Suara, korang boleh dengar suara saya. Siapa tadi? Syahril Sanudin. Boleh dengar tak suara saya? Saya ada 4 soalan saya dah hantar dah, tak tahu dia orang akan baca tak antara satu soalan yang 4 saya dah hantar. Nak lihat dulu apa jawapan yang dia atau ada yang tanya soalan yang sama. Tak ada yang bagi tahu yang video tak ada suara. Tak ada yang bagi tahu yang video tak ada suara.
Revenue each in 2021 and in 2022. And we reinvested that revenue into building this compliant, secure infrastructure so that everybody can have a safe and trusted place to trade, to store, to pay with crypto, to basically get full access to this ecosystem. And if you look at the nature of the business, it's really very simple. Give access, charge a fee. We never engaged as a company in any irresponsible lending practices. We never took any third-party risks. We do not run a hedge fund. We do not trade customers' assets. We always kept one-to-one reserves, and it's also true today, and very soon we'll prove it with the audited one-to-one proof of reserves report. So I think it's also important to understand that if you look at FTX, list of creditors, probably 100,000 customers. They are typically semi-pro, pro traders. A big chunk of this population is on Twitter, and a big chunk of this population has funds stuck on FTX. It's a completely different business when you're serving pro traders on a derivatives platform versus onboarding 70 million individual customers who predominantly buy and hold. So I want everybody to understand that these are completely two different businesses that are operating in the same space with different focus, different infrastructure, different approach to security, different approach to regulation, and just a different mindset about the business. We are not traders. We are not a hedge fund. We live to give people access to cryptocurrency and take this industry to complete global adoption. So what is going to happen forward is we will just continue with our business as usual, and we will prove all the naysayers.
Ini soalan yang antara saya tanya juga dari 4 soalan saya dapat pagi tadi.
We'll prove them all wrong with our actions. We'll continue operating as we have always operated. It will continue being the safe and secure place where everybody can access crypto. And by the way, there's this debate whether people should be keeping funds on exchanges or withdraw it. I would like to remind everyone that since 2020, we've got Crypto.com DeFi wallet, which is non-custodial. We spent 2 years building and improving it. You can actually link it for your custodial wallet with your non-custodial wallet, and you can withdraw funds to your non-custodial wallet and control the keys. It's a very simple experience. It's as good as it gets in terms of non-custodial wallets. More than 5 million people already downloaded it. So if you guys are looking to move to a setup where you control your coins in a non-custodial wallet, I highly recommend you to download Crypto.com DeFi wallet today. We fully support this movement and the movement of decentralization. So this is the first 10 minutes of an introduction. I wanted to give everybody a brief overview of how we are different and what we are doing to make sure that everything goes well. And now I would like to move on to the Q&A. Steve.
Awesome. So again, thank you to everybody who sent in questions. We literally got hundreds and hundreds of questions. We've tried to boil them down to their essence so that we can get to everybody's questions as quickly as possible. The first one, I think, Chris, you addressed it a little bit. Maybe you have some more to add to it. How are we different from FTX?
All right. So essentially, there are two business models in cryptocurrency space, right? One is the brokerage model where our platform, for example, is a counterparty to the transaction. And every time our users buy or sell crypto, we immediately hedge their position to have zero market risks, and we take a fee for providing the access to it. This is 95% of our business. That's also 95% of business of Coinbase. And the other model is taking a fee on exchange where people trade hundreds of millions of dollars. High volume traders, fees are a couple bips and whatnot. So those are the two business models. And we focus on the retail part of the business. Our exchange, while growing fast, and we just launched our Gen 3 version of the exchange, which has got a lot of great features and even lower fees. It's growing nicely, but it's still a small portion of our business. Retail access to 70 million people, this is our core. So it's completely different compared to FTX. I already addressed the issues of mixing up hedge fund business together with an exchange. I think it's a terrible idea. It should be outlawed. I already addressed the irresponsible lending practices of some of the companies that blew up in May. We've never done any of these. We are very conservative, and we like our business to be simple.
So perfect segue to the next question, which is, what are Crypto.com's main sources of income and profit?
Again, it's the fees our users pay whenever we give them access through fiat or crypto trading. We've got also some smaller revenue streams. For example, our Crypto.com Pay solution, where merchants accept cryptocurrency as a form of payment for their goods.
Matic melaju,
and we charge,
naik
50
laju
basis
Matic.
points,
Shiba pun
for
naik hampir
providing the
2%.
service and subsequently converting it to fiat for them. But majority of it is just a global access
Solana
to
dekat
income.
mana?
Awesome. A lot
Solana,
of people, the whole industry is
8% waktu
talking
sekarang
about
ni.
proof of reserves. We're preparing a third
Saya
party
rasa dalam
audit right now.
10%
A
kot
lot of
price
people
naik.
wanted to know, can you elaborate on the details of what will be in that audit?
Right. So the objective of the audit is to verify independently that every single coin that we have on the platform is matched by our reserves. And if you want to get a look of how this type of report looks like, you can go to Kraken website. They've been doing this for many years. For our report, we will push extremely hard to do it within 30 days. If it can be done faster, we will do it faster. But you guys have to understand, these are audit firms. They don't operate on crypto speed. We need to onboard. We need to agree on the scope, and we need to complete this, right? And this is a large-scale platform, right, with fair amount of scale, right? So I assume that if we manage to cut a week from this, that would be great. But I would not expect this to be any faster. And I understand everybody wants it. I want it too. If there was a physical way of publishing this today, I would publish it today, because I know that everybody wants to just relax. Me too. But you guys need to wait for people who work at different speed than all of us.
Yeah, you've just addressed the second question, which is everyone wants to know, can we get it this week? But as you just said, really hard to do that.
We will do our best to push for it as much as possible. You guys also need to remember that after the events of last week, there's quite a number of other exchanges who are also working on it. I think actually this is a very positive development, that every single exchange that has some basic scale in terms of multiple billions of dollars in AUM, every single one will have to have it and will have to publish. And we will push super hard for this, and we will make sure that it's required by law in every jurisdiction that is a tier one jurisdiction. We've already went through a lot of these processes with multiple regulators, so we run like this, right? But not everybody in the industry today runs like this. So we have to make sure collectively, as an industry, that this is so that there's full transparency. Otherwise, it's going to be extremely hard to restore the trust that was lost last week.
So moving on to the next question. On Friday, we released our cold wallet addresses, and a lot of people are talking about 20% of the reserve is in SHIB. Can you explain that? A lot of people were wondering, how does that happen?
Well, it's one-to-one, right? So we store whatever our customers buy. And it so happens that last
Ni
year,
ramai yang keliru dekat sini ni
Doge
pasal
and
Shiba punya.
were two extremely hot meme coins. And people bought a lot, and they're holding it. They didn't sell it. So as long as our users are holding, we'll be holding it. We have no control over what you guys buy. You buy it, we will store it, we will keep it safe for you, and that's it. So I want to make it clear for everybody that those are not our funds. Those are client funds, right?
Perfect. So another, FUD and stuff like that that's been going around, people are asking, is it true that you've stopped withdrawals?
This is absolutely not true. We're operating as usual. Again, there is a heightened level of activity, which means higher trading volumes, more revenue for us, also higher number of deposits and withdrawals, and we are operating as usual with higher levels of activity. what you will see is that customer service tickets, there's some backlog there. So we're working super hard on making sure that you get answers from customer service in a timely manner. But withdrawals are absolutely core, and withdrawals are working and will always be working. This is absolutely fundamental. So every time you see somebody on Twitter saying that, withdrawals are not working, please double check, because they are working. You go to status.kripto.com and you can see status in real time of all the services. So I recommend you guys take a look at it. This week, there are only 3 coins where we stop withdrawals. One is Gala, which was a security incident a week ago, and 2 coins called SRM and Ray that are tied to FTX very closely. So we want to protect our users and progressively remove this type of assets from our platform altogether.
Moving on to the next question. Several influencers on Twitter have been saying Crypto.com is in financial trouble. What do you have to say to them?
This is not the first time that people are saying things about Crypto.com. They've been saying it for a few years, right? And what I can say is that we will do what we've always done. We will prove people wrong with our actions and not our words. So in a couple of months, all these guys are going to look really, really bad for throwing allegations that have absolutely no substance. Well, as a company, we not only have one-to-one reserve coverage, we also have a tremendously strong balance sheet. So we will continue operating as usual, and we will prove people wrong. I'm looking forward to it more than anything else.
Did Crypto.com have any exposure to Luna? That was a really popular question.
Luna, we've been very transparent. We had 0 exposure to Luna. And this comes from the conservative way in which we run and operate this business. So first of all, we do not lend to third parties. This has been the source of collapse of companies like Blockfolio and Celsius, right? And we do not take counterparty risk of any sort like this. And secondly, we've never had any exposure to USD.
Tak ada, tengah
20% yield is too good to be true. We looked at the mechanics.
Tengah layan live dia. Tengok macam mana apa jawapan dia. Sebab dah keluar dah semua dah.
Instruments. So
dekat DeFi wallet sekarang semua dah keluar daripada semua exchange. Cuma nak dengar apa cara dia cakap dengan apa.
If anybody
apa jawapan dia.
Twitter says otherwise, it's just fraud, and it's 100% completely false.
Moving to the next one. Why did you send nearly 1 billion in stable coins to FTX? And were those 1 billion recovered?
First of all, people should always look at funds movement on both sides, right? Over a year, $1 billion was moved to FTX, and we recovered all of this. We only had exposure of under $10 million when FTX shut down. And FTX was a trading venue where this is one of the few trading venues with decent liquidity for some of the coins, like the ones I mentioned earlier, SRM, Ray, and they were also one of the primary venues for Solana. So we do hedge some of our customers' orders there. And the way the brokerage part of our business works is that every time customer places an order on the app, buy or sell, we have multiple venues where we could hedge this order, and we pick the most cost-efficient one with best liquidity, lowest cost, so we can pass on these savings to our customers. And this means that we are not taking any market risk. We're always market neutral. But it also means that there must be fund flows between our venue and other venues in the industry. And FTX was one of them, and a very small one for us, for that matter. So we've recovered everything. Our exposure is less than $10 million. Those are the facts, and everything else is just food.
And I believe we answered this question, but there were a bunch of questions specifically asking if you could explain hedging and how Crypto.com engages with hedging. I believe you answered most of it, but if you had anything else to add.
I think this is actually pretty simple, and I think strategically what's important to us, I will also add, strategically what's important to us that we continue to grow Crypto.com exchange as a trading venue, so we progressively increase the level of liquidity on our own venue, so we can reduce reliance on other players in the industry for hedging purposes. We all know where are the centers of liquidity in the industry today, so it's our responsibility to make sure that we get you the best possible price and hedge it most efficiently. But ideally, over time, as we climb the rankings, and I think at the Gen 3.0 release for our exchanges, it's a cool milestone, because now we've got a tremendously competitive platform functionality-wise. It will allow us to compete on that front, and it will allow us to get to better levels of performance so that we can reduce our reliance on third-party venues.
So moving on to the next question, some people were curious, making parallels to FTX and wondering, do we use CRO as collateral for loans? How do we manage funds externally?
Ni soalan-soalan
Can you
saya ni.
provide some clarity there?
Ni soalan saya.
We never used CRO as a collateral for even a single loan in our history, not even once. And if you guys remember, it was about almost 2 years ago, we've actually burned 70 billion of excess supply of CRO. So the short answer is no, we've never used it. We never needed to use it. We've got a very simple business that generates fairly decent amount of revenue, and we focus on this.
There's another question related to having released our cold wallet addresses and showing the reserves that we have. Everybody started to ask, what about liabilities? Do we hold more assets than liabilities? How does that work? What's the relationship there between those cold wallet addresses and what's there, our assets and our liabilities?
Yeah, again, this is partial information, and all of the other players who are releasing it last week, they released the assets first, because this is the thing that you can compile in the fastest possible way with companies like Nancy, where you just create a dashboard, plug in the addresses, and it calculates it automatically, right? Whenever you need to bring in an external auditor and look at the other side of the equation, it takes a couple of weeks. So both sides with assets and liabilities, proving that we've got full one-to-one reserve coverage, will be available in the audited proof of reserves report coming in a few weeks. I want to also mention that on top of this, we've got a tremendously robust balance sheet as a company. So we never needed to raise any funds. We don't need to do it now. We don't anticipate that we will ever need to do it. We are a very strong balance sheet, and that also helps to weather this type of fluctuations.
I'm going to skip the next question because I think you addressed it, unless you had anything else to add about DeFi wallet and the Kronos ecosystem and the relationship there.
Again, we support the notion of decentralization. This is the
Khalid nak join tak?
of true.
Boleh kita bincang pasal apa yang berlaku dalam 2-3 hari ni sejak yang kita buat live.
Data and identity. This is your basic human right. This is what we're all about. We invested tremendously in building the decentralized part of our ecosystem with the DeFi wallet. Again, more than 5 million downloads. People love this product. You should try it. You can connect it to your main Crypto.com custodial wallet and move funds back and forth as you please, very quickly, very easily. And the Kronos ecosystem. There are more than 400 projects building on Kronos today. We are a contributor to this open source initiative. And we're even giving back to in terms of our contribution to Cosmos projects, because this was started as a Cosmos based project. So we believe in it, and again, our actions in terms of being fully transparent, open source, contributing, bringing 400 projects into this into Kronos, I think it speaks very loudly about our commitment to decentralization.
Cool. The next question, or again, another really popular one. How does Crypto.com generate yields? I think a lot of people see it like a bank account.
Right. Well, we view this as a rewards program to onboard users. We've never considered taking irresponsible lending risks as a way to juice the yields further and scale this product more than it is possible in a safe way. So this is important to understand. And once it reached a certain scale, we had to cut the rates so that our cost as a percentage of revenue drops. And we've done it as probably the first company in the industry. And nobody was happy, but we act responsibly in terms of managing our financial performance. So we've done it. This was the right decision. And it allows us to have a business that is cash flow positive today. So it's very, very important that people understand the differences in how different companies view risk and how do they operate their platforms.
This is a popular question we get all the time. How does Crypto.com afford all these marketing spends with the
Soalan
amount
yang
of revenue?
kedua.
I think that people need to understand how the communication side of things
Saya
work.
rasa bukan saya seorang saja tanya soalan ni, mesti ada
Whenever,
orang lain juga.
Say our deal with our partners at UFC, there's a tagline number of around 175 million, but everybody needs to understand this is a 10-year deal. Crypto.com Arena, it's a 20-year deal. So we simply pay a small portion of this long-term commitment every year. So the way we looked at this is it's an investment in building a trusted brand, and it's still a very manageable portion of our revenues, roughly 10% on an annual basis. So if you compare to how much other brands are spending per year as a percentage of their revenue on branding, it's not crazy. People think it's crazy because they look at the total numbers over 10, 20 years. But on annual base, as a percentage of revenue, it's quite reasonable. And I think that I always get asked, would you still do this deal if you knew that this deal, if you knew how the market unfolds? We've made a decision that we want to go out there and get our name out there. And we got to a pretty decent scale with 70 million users. It would never be possible without this investment into our brand awareness. And I believe that this is also one of our contributions to the industry, because we managed to get the word out there, not only for ourselves, but also for the entire industry, if only by the virtue of our name.
Absolutely. I love seeing our name everywhere. What are your expectations about the future, and where do you see Crypto.com in 5 years?
That's a great question. And, I think after the events of last week, everybody needs to think about how do we restore trust for the entire industry. It's been shaken, badly damaged. In case of many people lost.
Hancur habis.
It's going to require a tremendous amount of work and commitment from every single player in this industry in order to restore this. So this is our priority one.
Dekat Twitter Space siap ada yang
Continue to be
menangis
the
tau.
trusted, responsible player that has a fully regulated business that everybody can understand, that's fully transparent, so that we can provide a place that is safe and secure for the users, so that they have a place to go to. And if you extrapolate a few years down the road, like 5 years, okay, so I think that the industry is going to come back, and is going to come back stronger than ever. I think collectively, it's very painful now, but we will benefit collectively from removal of bad actors from the industry. But I want everybody to understand that restoring this faith in our space is going to take time and work. It's not going to be overnight. There's another aspect of it that I frequently think about, and that
Expectation manusia agak
bear
tinggi
markets
sikit.
are actually good for one thing: really building. There is no hype. You can focus on building products that customers actually want.
Shitcoin.
You need to
Hype
get the real
shitcoin
product market
tinggi
fit.
sangat.
You need to generate real revenues. Those things tend to be a very conducive atmosphere for releasing stuff that is breakthrough. And these innovations that are being built right now are going to help us drive the next cycle of adoption. So I think it's going to be fine. I remain optimistic about the industry. I'm also clear-eyed about the amount of work that is going to be required from all of us. And I think that if you think about the possibilities, as an industry, we've barely scratched the surface of the potential that this technology holds. I want to see a social network coming out of this space during the next cycle, a product that will onboard 1 billion plus users, a single product. There's still so much to do. So keep faith, stay strong. People who were here in 2018 and 2019 in the depths of winter, they felt the same things you're feeling now. So I think you need to understand that if you want to have outcomes, you need to have conviction and commitment. And if you have those two things, you're going to do exceptionally well in the future in this space.
All right. So if you've seen my eyes zipping around, it's because I'm trying to catch all the questions coming through on YouTube and elsewhere. So we've got a good one, I think a really good one from Armand Berry. And Armand asked, will you improve rewards on your Visa cards again?
So it's a tricky one because I don't want to overcommit. I'll give you my general answer how I think about rewards. We love to give back to our community and onboard as many people as we can. But we need to balance the revenues that we're generating from our core business with the expenditure rewards. So you can expect us to have a more attractive set of rewards when the market comes back. In fact, the way we've built our product is that we've got flexibility to do so. So the answer is like, as long as it makes sense from sustainability of the business perspective, we're keen to give back more.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that too. We've got a good question here from Not a Toyota. That's the screen name. Please explain your process to validate sending funds to the correct addresses. Where was the breakdown in the 400 million moved incorrectly?
All right, that's a great question. So first thing I want to clarify is that every single address that that our systems allow funds to be sent to is whitelisted and approved and pre-approved. And there's no way that systems can go to an address that we can't control and get the funds back from. So people were speculating that, we had to go and ask Gate.io to return the funds to us. No, we could just withdraw the funds and send it back because it was our corporate account with them. It's just the amount was so large that it was above their daily withdrawal limits. So we've asked them to increase our daily withdrawal limits, and that was the extent of their help. So people need to understand that at no time the funds were at risk of being sent somewhere where we couldn't get it back. And of course, we build the systems in a way to minimize and eliminate any potential for any kind of errors. And after this incident, we've further strengthened it, changed the process, improved it in order to make sure it just doesn't happen again. It happened over 3 weeks ago. It had nothing to do with Gate doing their proof of reserves. It had nothing to do with any of the craziness that's been happening since FTX collapsed. We're not perfect. We need to improve, and this has been a company that grew tremendously over the last couple of years. We are fixing stuff and improving every single day. But everybody needs to understand that there was the systems would not allow us to send the funds somewhere where we couldn't retrieve them.
All right, I think we'll end it with one more question. The screen name is a little bit funny. LFG to dinner. Will we see Kripto.com at the FIFA World Cup?
Well, of course, we are the global partner of FIFA World Cup as the only cryptocurrency business, and there's going to be probably 5 billion people watching the games. 5 billion. And the name Kripto.com is going to be all over this. So once again, it's going to serve to raise the awareness about it and maybe help a tiny bit with this issue of trust, just tiny bit, because of the visibility right next to the most trusted brands in the world. So I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a tremendous tournament. Hopefully it will allow all of us to relax a bit and stop thinking about this collapse last week. I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be great. And again, I hope you guys have a good time. We also have some stuff super special for you to participate in, but that's something that we're going to be announcing later.
Awesome. That's it for the questions. Again, thank you so much to everyone in the community who reached out. Stay in touch with us on Twitter, and I'm going to pass it back to Chris for any last closing thoughts.
Right, closing thoughts. Well, the first thing I want to say is I want to thank our community for the tremendous support. I see you guys backing us up on Twitter super hard and other networks when people are just trying to speculate and throwing around baseless allegations. I really appreciate it. It's great to know that this community is super tight and understands who we are as a brand, who we are as a team, and how we operate, and understand. I want to thank the community for this understanding that they can see what we've done over the last couple of years, what we've accomplished together, and sticking with us. I think it's great. I really truly appreciate it. That's number one. Number two, again, remember, ignore what they say and focus on what they do. Look at people's actions. Look at how we behaved over the last couple of years. Look at all the licenses we got from tier 1 jurisdictions. Please compare it with any other platform and show me who's done a better job at securing these, or the progress we've made on security certifications, privacy certifications. And now we are going to lead the way with transparency. So look at actions, not at words, and make your own mind based on what you see, rather than listening to people pontificating on Twitter, people who, frankly speaking, very frequently have no idea what they're talking about. So that's my ask of you. The third thing I want to mention is, in a summary, is that our focus is going to remain on pushing this industry to be more transparent, more compliant, and more safe for everybody. I think we've all learned a big lesson last week with this unexpected and shocking collapse of FTX. We need to collectively do better. And you can count on Kripto.com to lead the way. And you can count on Kripto.com to prove all the naysayers wrong in the coming months and years. Thank you all for joining.
Yep. Oh, dah tamat dah. Okay. Daripada apa yang saya dengar, apa yang dia cakap, apa semua. Jadi Saya kena memang ada yang saya tahu memang betul, tapi kita kena berhati-hati sebab kita tak tahu serangan ni bank run ni, kita tak tahu apa yang berlaku. Kadang-kadang orang bercakap pasal saya tamatkan ni. Oh, come on Imo. Kita tak tahu apa yang akan berlaku. Itu saya dah keluar daripada semua exchange, bukan daripada Binance, daripada KuCoin, daripada Get.io. Sebab saya ada account sikit-sikit kat situ, saya buat short term trade dekat account situ. Untuk long term memang saya berada dekat Kripto.com saja. Tapi saya dah pindah semua pergi ke DeFi. Yang Kripto.com punya saya pindah pergi ke DeFi wallet Kripto.com. Yang lain semua yang lain semua saya pindah pergi ke ada yang pergi ke Trust Wallet dengan ada yang pergi ke MetaMask. Jadi ada yang saya pernah kata saya nak cuba buat NFT tahun lepas. Saya ada buat NFT saya sendiri, tapi saya tidak publish semuanya, tapi semua berada dekat MetaMask juga, dengan ada dekat OpenSea juga. Jadi ada yang gambar-gambar yang saya tangkap dekat merata semua saya pindah pergi ke MetaMask. Yang NFT semua pergi ke MetaMask dengan Kripto.com DeFi wallet Kripto.com, bukan Kripto.com aplikasi atau bukan Kripto.com exchange, tapi DeFi wallet Kripto.com. Dan ada dekat Trust Wallet yang dekat Binance yang KuCoin pergi ke Trust Wallet. Get.io Get.io pergi ke dengan ada beberapa NFT pergi ke MetaMask, dan yang untuk long term pergi ke DeFi wallet Kripto.com. Jadi saya memang dah tak ada dekat dalam central dekat exchange, mana-mana exchange, tapi dah semua dah keluar pergi ke ni, saya dah pindah semua. Tapi daripada soalan yang saya tanya, dua soalan yang saya tanya tu memang saya dah tahu jawapan, saya dah agak jawapan akan bagi seperti macam tu, tapi agak kurang sikit daripada soalan yang saya tanya tadi. Ada macam mana adakah Kripto.com menggunakan coin dia CRO sebagai collateral dan memberi atau berhutang atau dekat FTX, atau menggunakan CRO collateral untuk beli aset, macam dia macam jana duit, macam mana FTX lakukan dengan FTT. Dia ambil FTT coin, pergi ke buat collateral, dapatkan duit cash dengan coin dia orang sendiri, lepas tu beli aset lagi, lepas tu buat collateral, beli aset lagi. Itu soalan yang saya tanya dekat CRO. Jadi dia kata dia orang tak buat seperti mana FTT, tapi kita nak sebelum apa-apa saya tak akan pindah balik pergi ke Kripto.com atau pergi ke Muhammad Rizki ke. Hang dah terlepas, hang boleh tengok ni video, boleh ulang balik dalam masa 20 minit atau 30 minit. Patah balik, scroll balik ke bawah situ semua ada details tadi live CEO buat live Ask Me Anything live video dekat ni. Jadi itu semua ada detail di situ. Jadi saya rasa dalam 20 minit kot. Tadi ada yang tak ada suara, tak ada yang nonton, jadi tak ada yang bagi tahu video tu tak ada suara. Jadi bila saya check tadi memang tak ada suara, jadi saya reset balik. Tapi dekat YouTube ada, nanti saya akan share link video ni, korang boleh tengok. Tapi waktu sekarang ni, selagi audit tak keluar sekali lagi tu, saya tak akan pindah pergi Kripto, patah balik pergi ke Kripto.com atau mana-mana exchange. Saya nak lihat dulu keadaan macam mana, dengan keadaan tenang dan dah tak ada apa-apa atau breakout berlaku. Tengok market waktu sekarang ni tengah pumping juga, sebab Binance pun ada beri update berkaitan dia akan cuba bantu atau mendirikan funding untuk rescue mana-mana projek yang kukuh, dan akan beri tugas kepada Binance Lab untuk review projek tersebut. Kalau semua keadaan baik dalam 2-3 minggu yang akan datang atau dalam bulan 12, baru saya akan pergi ke exchange balik, patah long term trade melakukan DCA. Waktu sekarang ni saya tidak akan melakukan apa-apa, tapi akan ikuti berita-berita perkembangan semasa atau perkembangan, lihat keadaan macam mana. Tapi kalau keadaan lebih baik dalam masa terdekat, saya akan melakukan. Tetapi walaupun video dah terangkan banyak soalan yang telah dijawab dekat MA tadi, Ask Me Anything live video, dijawab oleh CEO Kripto.com. Jadi masih tidak memuaskan, tapi walaupun apa-apa pun dia dah cakap kalau dia tak ada masalah untuk semua, kalau semua aset yang ada berada dekat Kripto.com withdraw, dan tetap akan lakukan tugas orang sebagai exchange untuk tetap akan berjalan jalan seperti biasa, sebab diorang memberi apa nak cakap diorang punya memberi servis untuk orang membeli atau menjual, betul. Tapi kalau sudah membeli atau nak diorang tak kisah nak simpan dekat Kripto.com atau nak pergi ke DeFi wallet atau pergi ke mana-mana wallet atau hard wallet atau cold wallet, tak kisah daripada situ, sebab diorang punya servis hanya itu, atau dan diorang akan dapat income daripada servis yang diorang beri, seperti jual beli. Diorang ada fee diorang, kita akan bayar fee untuk membeli dengan menjual. Lagi soalan yang pertama yang ditanya, sebenarnya soalan yang terakhir yang kedua tadi adalah soalan pertama, tapi soalan yang ni adalah income, duit datang daripada mana, pergi ke sponsor sana sponsor sini. Jadi dia jawab dia ada kontrak. Jadi seluruh kos yang kontrak untuk 20 tahun itu adalah keseluruhan kos. Jadi kos yang tersebut akan dibagi kepada 20 tahun. Jadi dia akan bagi sedikit hingga yang telah dijanjikan, atau kontrak yang telah sign, yang macam UFC dengan FIFA untuk 5 tahun. Kalau tak silap saya tadi cakap, kalau tak silap tadi saya ada dengar 5 tahun, tapi saya lupa. Tapi 10 tahun untuk UFC. Jadi 10 itu kontrak adalah selama untuk 10 tahun. Jadi kos yang kos akan ditanggung untuk 10 tahun tu kos untuk kontrak tersebut adalah akan dibagi kepada 10 tahun. Jadi setiap tahun akan bagi sedikit daripada tu. Jadi kalau 10 tahun jadi 10% setiap tahun akan dibayar kepada UFC daripada yang kontrak yang telah dijanjikan. Jadi tu sajalah. Tapi bagi saya waktu sekarang ni saya tak akan pergi mana-mana exchange. Kalau saya nasihat kepada yang sudah menonton ni, kalau pergi sila beli ledger seperti yang Ani Muhammad Rizki bro. Kalau exchange backup coin lebu ke walaupun simpan dalam ledger, simpan dalam cold wallet atau MetaMask, DeFi wallet mana-mana, Trust wallet, simpan di situ saja. Okay? Kita dah pegang key kita, jadi kita kena jaga key tu, key press. Bila kita dah jaga key press tu, kita jaga elok-elok. Jangan terbuang key press tu, tulis dalam 2-3 buku, okay? Tulis dalam buku, tulis dekat mana, notepad ke apa ke, simpan dalam key press tu ada sangat penting. Sebab kita nak pindah nanti kita kena guna key press tu untuk pindah kita punya fund atau kita punya coin. Tu simpan dalam ledger. Sebab kalau macam katalah CRO exchange lesap, DeFi Kripto.com masih ada lagi. Kronos dibahagi kepada dua. Dia jaga Kronos ni adalah coin Kripto.com. Dia ada chain dia sendiri. Jadi dalam chain tu ada banyak projek yang sedang dirancang dekat DeFi wallet. Jadi DeFi wallet semua fee apa yang saya pindah sana, swap sini, swap sana, semua dibayar bawah Kronos. Kalau pergi ke ni, kalau pindah daripada Kripto.com pergi ke Kripto.com apps, pergi ke DeFi wallet pun akan ada yang bayar guna Kronos, guna fee. Jadi fee gas dia ada utility dia. Jadi nak cakap macam mana, DeFi wallet akan survive bawah Kronos. Jadi Kronos akan tetap ada di situ. CRO coin mesti tetap ada. Jadi mungkin jatuh ke bawah daripada 1 sen, mungkin lebih jatuh lagi seperti harga Shiba, tak tahu, tapi chain tu tetap ada. Chain tak akan pergi ke mana-mana, akan cuba jalankan banyak projek yang telah ni, sebab ada NFT, pasaran NFT juga di bawah Kronos. Pasaran NFT Kripto.com di bawah Kronos. Jadi agak berbeza sikit. Dia nampak macam ni, kalau korang pergi ke Kripto.com apps dia berlain. Lepas tu untuk exchange apps lain. Kripto.com punya apps dengan Kripto.com tidak sama. Lepas tu Kripto.com DeFi wallet tidak sama. Jadi dia link dia berlainan. Jadi tidak sama seperti mana KuCoin kalau kita lihat dekat sana future atau trading spot wallet adalah dekat satu apps, tapi dekat Kripto.com dia 3 apps yang berbeza, bukan apps yang sama. Jadi Kronos Kripto.com punya coin tetap ada, tapi yang kalau jatuh yang pertama adalah Kripto apps yang biasa, yang mana ramai yang download guna Visa card apa semua. Yang kedua adalah exchanger, yang ketiga adalah DeFi wallet. Jadi DeFi wallet tak akan pergi ke mana-mana sebab dia orang tak dapat kawal key, sebab kita yang pegang key tersebut. Jadi kalau jatuh pun Kripto.com yang jatuh, tapi saya rasa tidak akan jatuh pergi ke mana, tapi itu sajalah tapi kita kena tunggu keadaan dua. Memang keadaan akan nampak kecoh sikit, tapi keadaan akan tenang selepas tu baru kita akan cari dekat mana kita nak pergi atau exchange mana yang kita boleh percaya. Okay? Bagi saya Binance, Kraken, Bitstamp, Kripto.com, saya rasa empat ni saya boleh nampak lagi boleh pergi jauh. Yang lain agak ni sikit. Apa yang satu lagi? Bybit ke apa? Saya tak tahu pasal Bybit atau apa lagi satu ada la token ke apa. Lepas tu Huobi. Kita nak lihat dulu keadaan macam mana. Kalau keadaan dah tenang dalam seminggu dua lagi, kita nak lihat exchange mana yang kita boleh percaya untuk kita nak untuk long term, supaya kita boleh trading short term, long term, membeli simpan dekat situ secara dengan lebih tenang lagi. Sebab apa? Tahu negara lain dengan Malaysia gaji sebulan sekali. Kalau dekat Australia seminggu sekali. Seminggu punya gaji dah hampir sebulan seperti dekat Malaysia. Jadi itu lagi satu, bukan senang nak datang. Jadi kita nak kena dengar apa yang saya cakap ni. Sekarang ni tengah 2 orang saja yang nonton yang saya tahu, tetapi mana tahu ada yang nonton kemudian. Tapi saya akan buat klip untuk video yang apa yang saya nak cakap ni. Kalau korang dengar apa yang saya cakap sekarang ni, duit bukan senang nak datang. Okay? Duit bukan senang nak datang. Kita bekerja keras selama sebulan untuk nak kumpul duit. Lepas tu kita labur sedikit daripada duit bulanan yang kita dapat. 20%, mungkin 10%. Okay? 100-200 mungkin kita akan labur dekat mana-mana yang kita percaya, coin mana. Lepas tu akan hilang seperti macam tu. Jadi kalau boleh, download MetaMask atau Trust Wallet. Mana wallet yang korang percaya yang ada 12 press, key press atau 24 key press. Jadi simpan key press tersebut, beli dekat exchange mana-mana tak kisah, Binance ke Huobi ke apa, tapi transfer terus pergi ke wallet tersebut. Jadi korang akan tenang. Kalau mampu beli Ledger Nano S atau Nano X, Ledger Nano X atau Nano S. Saya rasa Nano S yang paling murah. Jadi beli coin terus pergi ke Nano S. Simpan, tenang. Exchange mana nak jatuh, tak kisah exchange mana. Okay, jatuh, kita punya coin tetap selamat. Jadi itu sajalah untuk sekali ni. Jadi saya akan buat video lagi selepas dalam 2-3 jam lagi. Kalau ada yang tengah nonton waktu sekarang ni, dalam 2-3 jam lagi saya akan buat video. Bukan video, mungkin saya akan buat live lagi sekali lagi. Okay, so itu sajalah untuk ni kali ni. Saya nak buat ni sebab mail om bagi tahu kat saya, cuba buat live. Masa live video CEO ni buat live, jadi saya pun buat. Okay, tak apa. Okay, terima kasih kepada yang sudi menonton. Jumpa lagi pada video akan datang. Bye bye. Selalu ya saya intro saya ni hilang.